Hey, hey. Yes, we are back live.
Hey,
Live action.
Live action. Thank the good Lord above. I'm glad to be here, even though I'm in the truck. But I had to come. I ride out here and get me a signal. But I'm glad to see everybody. I can see it up there. I ain't gonna dip, man. I'm chewing gum, and I'll smack it if I need to put it under my tongue. So John and Jessica, y'all are in Arkansas, correct?
We are in Arkansas.
Yep. Arkansas.
nice and warm here.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. I bet it is. What was it this morning, John? Go ahead and tell everybody what it was.
I put in, it was 17 degrees at the ramp, and it was blowing about 12 to 15. They said the wind chill was like 7 or 8. So it was miserable. But caught fish.
Yeah.
So,
there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Jessica wanted
I was like, nope.
She wanted no part of it, so I went by myself this morning.
Yeah, I talked to John this morning, and he's like, man, I'm at it. He said, Jess stayed home. I said, I guess so, man. That's got a little bit of wind and that, man. That's awful.
I know my boundaries or my limits.
Yeah, it was freezing like the eyelets, like 3 or 4 eyelets down.
Yeah.
I mean, you make a cast and then you reel it back up, you can feel it scrubbing, which is automatically freezing. So,
oh yeah, I guarantee you, it was cool.
But
everybody's tuning right back in, man. I appreciate y'all, man. My little hiatus we had for 30 days. 30 days is a long time, man. I mean, you don't realize it, but a month is a long time when you're used to doing something, consistently. It blew on by. We got 40 something people jumped on here, man. I appreciate y'all being patient. We had to do it on John's page. We had to do it on YouTube. And then,
it wasn't a very good success.
It was not. We had a lot of, like John was saying, man, we got a lot of momentum with the show, thanks to all you guys, and got some followers and got it pumped up. So we're hoping to get that momentum back and start pushing a little bit. But everybody's dealing with this cold weather, and really nothing you can do about it. Just I know we're going to get some more, John, before Easter. I know we always do, man.
We were looking last year. We were out here at the same time in Arkansas last year, and everything. Would you say it was greener? Jessica
kept saying it was greener.
Yeah, Jessica noticed in her picture she said it was greener, and
it was 70 during the day too. Though.
Yeah, we were wearing like these shirts outside, and
damn.
But not. I mean, ooh. We're gonna slide off into Louisiana tomorrow, finish the trip up, and hope. Right now, Jessica's got the big fish.
Yeah, what was it? I seen the picture. I should have put it on here, man. I'm so unorganized now. Excuse me.
We're right now. Jessica's got the big fish of the trip. It's a 268.
Gonna upgrade tomorrow.
She says she's gonna upgrade tomorrow.
Amen. So. Amen to that, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
But I don't. It's gonna be her least favorite thing to fish with. So we'll. Yeah, a long pole.
Our elbow gonna be hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Break out the long rod, huh?
But maybe we won't have to do that, but we'll see.
Yeah, you finally decided where you're going to go, John?
Not totally, but I got a good idea. How about that?
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm turning these lights off. It's so bright.
We had it locked down where we're going to go, and I got a message from Airbnb, and the pipes had frozen at the place we were going to.
Dang. I imagine so, man. It's 42 here and the wind's blowing, but it's not as cold as it is up there. I know I spoke with who was I talking to? Said it was gonna be like 6, I forget what the wind chill was gonna be. 0 or something, John?
I talked to somebody in North Arkansas, so they had some 0 degree up there.
Yeah,
So,
Heather Lee. I talked to Heather Lee, and we were messaging, and she was like, "Hey, it's I was asking her how the fishing was because you was headed that way, and she said it was going to be zero." I was like,
Crazy.
yeah.
"No." Yeah.
I made the best of it. That Wind Rider. Hey.
Oh
Look,
yeah, you know.
no, I got a Wind Rider shirt on right now, but that cold weather gear will save your butt.
It's legit, man. You know,
all I wore out there in. All right, so I put in at 17 degrees. It was single digit
right.
wind chill. I put on my float suit, the ice fishing suit. All I had on was a sweater under it and some jogging breeches, and fished. Blowing.
Yeah, you know, that's when it's handy when it's that cold. You know, because that's something you don't want to be pulling on and off. You know what I mean? You want to put it on and fish and
sure.
But tell Clinton wants to know why you're going to use a long rod tomorrow, John. Just because of the watercolor or the fish?
Yeah.
What are you going? What's the?
I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be real muddy, and it sometimes like when they're down in a tree that's really an intricate tree, and maybe they're not spooky.
Yeah.
You can get down there and set it down in that tree. Whereas, like if the tree's going from the to the top of the water, and you can't cast over the top of it, it's coming out of the water. You might have to ease up there and like sink it down in there. Is that
I got you.
I think that's the best explanation I can give.
I got you. Well, yeah, I know you hadn't. You'll have your gloves on. I'm sure that's what Clinton wants to know. You use your gloves. You'll have them on tomorrow, I'm sure.
I can't wear them. I started with them today, and they look like they got little poof balls coming off of them where I kept hooking the glove because I'm so used to like doing stuff instinctively. So I cast, I bring the jig back in, I catch it with my hand, and I hook the glove.
I done that. Hey, and I thank God I got some hand warmers for Christmas because I had taken them out and I put them back in. I was like, man, I'm gonna need these things, you know, because hey, those things are handy when you can just knock the chill off your hands and go back at it, you know.
But so what I would do is like I was fishing schools today, and in between schools, I just put my short the 5-footer in my lap, and I put both my hands in that Wind Rider jacket. And if you put them in those pockets, they're gonna get warmed up. And so I just run. But I did have a partial glove on my right hand, which I hold the rod with all the time. And so I had a glove on that hand, so I put my left hand in that pocket and let it warm up in between schools.
I wear a full glove on my right hand, ungloved, and then I just pull it in and out.
Yeah, Clinton's saying he's seeing a lot of people use long rods at Grenade. That's because that water is a yoo-hoo right now.
Yeah, I've talked to some guys that are over there right now. Like they're literally having to put the jig in their mouth. I mean, like they can't see it at all because it's like the least visibility you'll ever see anywhere when they're bringing that back up.
Yeah, because you know all the church and everything. Yeah.
The best thing I can tell somebody is like you took a cup of flour and threw it in a mixing bowl, and then imagine what that visibility would be. It's just that much. It's saturated that much.
Yeah. That's. But I mean, hey, they catch them, man. They catch them big fish. I mean, they really do. You know, it's crazy, but they do. Oh man, I'm trying to think of what all we got to catch up with. I mean, we've been doing shows. It just hasn't
been the same without being on Facebook.
No, it has not, man, because you miss so many comments, man, and catching up with people, you just do. I mean, there's 70 people on here right now. You know, the most we had, tuned in on YouTube was 40. I'm blessed for it, but it's just a lot easier platform. Oh, Nick Duchamp wants to know what triggers a strike in that muddy water, John. What makes that fish just, finally turn his nose up and eat it,
So I've been like in the muddy water since we've been gone. We started in Texas and it was real muddy. I was using a bigger profile bait and I was putting a lot of vibration in the water. I get on that fish and just shaking it like crazy. until the fish recognize it's there. Then I, make a normal retrieve. But a lot of vibration, a bigger profile. That's what we were doing out there in Texas, messing with those white crappie. But it was really muddy.
Yeah.
Here, it's not as bad. I felt like here, one of the lakes we fished, presentation was key.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. We're dealing with a lot of high water in Alabama. The river's jumped up, and winds pushing that muddy water around. A lot of logs, a lot of everything. It's just nasty. But hey, it's February, man, and that's the way it is. It is still February.
We have not had a good wind day since we left. It
I
has been
believe
bad. Yeah,
Bad.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Tomorrow will be the 7th day that we've been able to fish, and it's been bad wind days every day. I mean, boo-hoo, we're out here fishing, I know, but I mean, you think you catch one good wind day in there somewhere. I think Saturday's gonna be the
Saturday's gonna be the day.
So
Yeah, you get light and variable. I hope so, man.
it's 2 to 4. I always go off, the numbers. I don't ever say the light and variable stuff.
Right. Yeah. Cause you really do need to look at that wind finder, because it really specifically says, hey, because that light and variable.
It has not been since we've been gone. It is totally. It's going to be terrible every day, and it's been terrible.
Yeah. Hey, hey, I'm glad y'all got away. I know Jessica needed to get away for sure.
I
So
myself regardless.
Yep. Need to turn my light on a little more. Johnny's telling me to turn my light on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my old fat head to take up that whole screen.
Patrick, I need JL to call me. I got some business for him. I've been trying to get up with him.
Yeah, it's Patrick Garner, old Johnny Carwell. Yeah, Ashton said he's sick, got the bronchitis. He fished Friday, Saturday. Hey, there's a lot of people that's sick.
So you might have to turn your head around backwards like you at the gym.
Yeah, I do it. That way you can see.
Hey,
there we go. Hey, now you can see fat head.
Jessica's darting out over here. I'm over here glowing. I'm wind burnt. I'm everything.
Yeah, you over glowing. Let's see, man. Grant Markham. Let's ask there, Grant. What water temp do you start looking for spawning fish on the Alabama River? That's a good question.
59, 60.
Constant, John?
Yeah, 59, 60. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, probably starting. I don't know. It's getting cooler there, but I messed with some fish the week before we left that were up there messing around, and that's not the Alabama River. That's more lower Alabama. But
Right.
the males I caught were turning, and one of the places I fished, they moved up in that area. So right now, start looking, bud.
Yeah, it's time to. Alabama River, Mark Bowling caught some, and he said I'd be surprised where he caught them. I caught some, in 7, 8, 9 foot of water a couple of weeks ago, and the females were running. I was talking today, actually I was talking to Neil on the way down here, and, talking about how the sun affects these fish this time of year big time. That sun has a lot to deal with the location of these fish, this time of year.
Yeah.
Don't you think, John?
Yeah, we're gonna mess with some high floaters tomorrow. There's
Right.
no doubt. It's muddy water. They're gonna. I already know. It's gonna be interesting tomorrow, which will be good.
Yeah, man, I hope you run into some big fish. We going black or white fish, John?
If I might have to mess around in that timber, I'd rather be higher up in it.
Right.
So that'll be better. But it's big blacks and big whites in this lake, so
Okay.
we get a dang room. we get off here, we still got to finish the room situation. So.
You'll get it.
I'm just finding out all kind of stuff tonight.
On the fly. That's what
Yeah.
makes it fun, Jess. That's what that's what makes it fun.
I've never,
man. That's what makes it fun. Johnny Carwell said he hadn't fished since his wife broke his back in December. Man, that stinks. Hope she's doing okay now, Johnny. Whew. That's rough, man. I don't like to see anybody get hurt. Let's see. I seen Dave Fells. He said he's had you fall in 3 weeks for 4 days. He'll be tuned up. I talked to him on the way down. Well, Dave, he'll be fired up, buddy. I guarantee you.
Is he gonna have Derek with him?
I don't know. You know he will. Derek and a bunch of cramp.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, yeah. Yeah, it should be pretty good, man. I think we've got several good weeks coming. Next week it's gonna be what, 75, John?
I don't know. I have not looked.
I think it's gonna be 75. If I looked on my phone, it was gonna be 75 here or something like next week. So. David said, "Yep," and Crown. I guarantee you, Dave and Derek, them, they're no lack of fun. I promise you. Let's see. Scott Steele says muddy water stays warmer, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Just like a dark shirt or this tattoo on my arm. That thing gets sunlight on it, it gets warm. I promise you. Bill Lawley said he gets to finally go. He gets to go next week. Got all the deer processing done.
Yeah, he sent me a picture. He was making some.
Oh man, you know.
Summer sausage.
Yeah.
I am trying. So Shiloh keeps saying, like, he'll see some summer sausage, like, oh, the pastrami or salami. I'm like, no, bud. If you don't want to be a Yankee anymore, you got to quit saying that. We call that summer sausage. I give him a hard time. Shiloh's like, I've moved down here. I've been down here for a couple of years now. Yeah, he said, I'm from the South now. I'm like,
It'll take a little while. Hey, it took my buddy Rob. I mean, he's been down here 20-something years, and he finally got used to, everything here.
It was kind of funny, though. Shiloh and I fished together a couple weeks ago, and I always say crappie, and, that's kind of an Alabama thing, but he called it,
yeah.
he said crappie one time. He said, oh, my God, we've been fishing together too long. I said crappie. I was like,
yeah, Bill always talking about snack sticks. Man, them things. Man, I ate so many of them at that crappie expo. I literally got sick. I'm not.
They're delicious. He does a really good.
They were great. I mean, that is the God's honest truth. They got great flavor, man. It was good. Man, what lure of choice tomorrow, John? What you gonna be using tomorrow?
Whatever's tied on, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got some stuff I tied. It's like a Grenada Gold, that gold body.
Yeah. The gold and yellow. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll probably put some of that on there. The only thing about those is like when I tied them with those steelhead hooks. So
yeah.
They're pretty much gone when you can't get them back. So I don't know. Really haven't put much thought into that. I just I don't normally worry about that kind of color stuff. I just go.
I'm gonna sling with the candy corn because it's what's
There
tied
you go.
Yeah.
I know you.
That's what you caught it.
That's what's tied on
That's
right
what you
now.
caught the big fish on. You caught. So I mean, why not, right?
There you go. Yeah.
This trip really hadn't been about color. It's been about the fishermen. Once they, the fish saw the bait, doing the right things, not dipping and not, doing it
Right.
Yeah, when they got waves going like, doosh, you're going up and down, it's kind of hard not to dip. That's why, like, we were at this lake that had a bunch of big black crappie in it, and one of the guys that was with us, he was trying to use a long pole, and I was like, man, there's no way. I mean, because you got to think, you got 16 feet of pole out in front of you, and you're trying to keep that from dipping and dodging and messing with a black crappie. It's not normally going to work out. That's why being able to cast some will help you a lot. But going and fishing in bad circumstances helps you a lot too. So
Makes you stronger.
Yes, makes you a better fisherman.
Yeah. Look at that old transducer doctor. Joey's tuned in. I appreciate you tuning in, Joe.
What's up, buddy?
What did Nick ask? Nick, y'all think the live scope is going to seriously deplete the popular crop? Nah,
No,
it's not. They just done a study that study that they done. Where was that, at Lake Fork?
it was
Well,
there.
that thing I shared it, Nick. It kind of blew your mind. It was this guy. These biologists got together. There was a bunch of statistics on it. You know.
So what they said on a reservoir, like a big, or any of the reservoirs, you can't catch enough of them. Really, you should be catching more of them.
That's what kind of debunked all that stuff, because, I always tell people, even on a great day, to catch 60, John, some of those days you see thousands of fish. I mean, literally, you've been there.
Well, here on these, some of these smaller places, people can go in there and take out a class of fish, like let's just say
bigger fish, right?
One year you had a really good class of fish that was a great spawn, and those fish have gotten bigger, and they're all 2-pounders. You go in there one year, and everybody just starts whooping those 2-pounders and keeping all of them. On a small place, a small lake. When I say small lake, I mean like a 1,000-acre lake or something like that, or smaller than that. They can take all those out and really hurt that lake.
Right. I can see that.
These bigger reservoirs, they say that, they just need to be caught and kept.
And a river system.
Well, I tell you what else they have debunked is this 10-inch deal. Like you're probably about to see Weiss Lake go back down to 9 inches in Alabama. From what I'm hearing from some people that talk to the biologists,
the population.
I'm like,
that heater's kicking.
I imagine so, John, because everybody's seeing, that's what these biologists need to do. They need to get on these boats with these live scopes and side scans and really see the amount of fish. I mean, I don't think, even with live scope, I don't think the percentages, it actually goes up. There's a low percentage of people that catch up fish in and in, day in and day out. But, I don't know. It's just one of those things.
I've always said they can't really get an accurate survey unless they do the netting. I'm just going to be honest, that little chicken shit they do around the edge of the lake with that shocking. I mean, unless they're doing that like right during the spawn at the perfect time, they're not getting an accurate depiction of that lake.
I agree with you 100%. I sure do. Let's see. Eric Mitzenberg said they're headed to Lower Mississippi in a week from. He's leaving that Central Illinois. Any advice from me a week from now? Man, looking at the weather, what do you think? Them fish ought to be set up pretty good.
All right, so we just talked about this earlier. I don't know if you heard it, but those lakes are like, when they start coming back up, they're really, really muddy. You have to you got to have live sonar or hold it right on the fish's nose. And I've got some guys I know that have been over there the past couple of days. They're not doing worth a flip. But as it gets on up and the water starts clearing up some, you can actually target those fish and maybe have a little bit better luck. But I think those guides right now are having to just hold it on that fish and be really good with that trolling motor.
Yeah, they're just poking along and
and just hold it on that fish so they recognize the bait's there.
Right. Hey, that boat control's it. That's what I was explaining to Derek on the phone, chasing these schooling fish and all that stuff. Boat control is really critical. I mean, you just got to spend time on the water and thank God for power brakes. You got the shirt on right there. It really helps slow you down and stop you. And, especially if you can really get away with stomping on them. It depends on the fish's attitude and stuff. If you can really ride them down.
Yeah. Sam covered 2 at once. We got power brakes and
Wind Rider. I see that. You blamed out. I got a low, I don't even know it. This is a little shirt. I don't know.
Hey.
I got nothing on. Oh man, that's a great question, Ashton. Ashton's asking, how do you present your bait from the first cast to the last on the same fish? So that's a big fish, John. It's a 2-pounder.
I'm gonna go past them and bring it over and kind of high up. First thing I'll do, I'm gonna get to the lake and where I'm fishing, and I'm gonna kind of look to see what the water clarity is. That's gonna tell me how far above the fish I want to present the bait. So if I get there and I drop a jig down the water and I can see it, I can see it at 2 feet. I feel like he can too. So I'm gonna make that first cast. I'm gonna be back past the fish 3 or 4 feet, and then bring it above his head at 2 feet above him. And, and when I get around that fish, I'm gonna add a little action to it, and try to trigger his attention. And if I do that a couple times, and don't get his attention, I'm gonna get closer to the fish, and then until I aggravate it and get some kind of reaction out of the fish. But the biggest thing is once you got the fish's attention, that's when you don't want to screw it up. You don't want to, you want the fish coming up the whole time. I always say that. Keep them coming up. If you flatline the fish where he's straight behind the bait, or your boat's gliding into the fish, or you dippy do just like that. She does the dippy doing sometimes.
Yeah, that jig's doing this, and you kind of lower your rod, and it does that. Oh,
yeah.
That's it. He's done. I mean, he's cast out on you.
Or if you're watching, where you can see what I'm doing. You've got the nose of your boat pointed toward the fish, and then the fish starts addressing your bait, and then the nose of the boat starts drifting with the wind. And if you mess with the trolling motor at that point, it's gonna mess the fish up. It's gonna dip the bait. So little things like that. But what happens is when that nose of the boat's going away from the fish, it's speeding the bait up. So little things like that are just things you're gonna learn.
There's a ton of stuff you're gonna run into for sure. Wise Choice Tackle, any ramps at Grenada have enough water to put a boat in. Man, they've been wiping fish out over there for 2 weeks. They got a tournament next weekend, big tournament.
Yeah, the biggest one.
The biggest one's next weekend. Yeah, they catch them. That water's 10 foot above normal than it is right now, I think. What's this time of year?
Yeah. Everybody's putting in down there, where they don't have the tournament way in there.
Yeah, down at the dam. That's right. They ought to. It's setting up to be a pretty good tournament next weekend. The weather's going to warm up. They ought to sack some big fish. So
I don't think that they'll ever break that record, but
Stone weighed a 363, and that's a big fish. So
yeah, I'm talking about
the 7 fish record. Yeah, what was it? On 24? What was it?
22.
22 something.
Was it 22 or 22? 22, I think. Matthew Rogers, he had like a 313 average, I think.
I remember that. Yeah, a couple springs ago, wasn't it, John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 21, 22?
Stupid.
Yeah.
It was something silly. I mean, no doubt. That's when that guy had that 4.6, that fella.
The guy, I think there were 4 pounders weighed in that tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, they got them there, buddy. I'm talking about big time. Let's see. Y'all ever waited for crappie? Been seeing some videos. Looks like you ever waited for crappie, John? I haven't. You ever done it?
No, I haven't.
Clinton's
I got my buddy Wade Cole likes to do it, but I don't want to get in that water because when that's water moccasin breeding season. There's a lot going on there. I do not want to be out there with. I can just see a ball of cottonmouth rolling up, and I'm like, why did I even think about it?
Not just that for me, John. I've duck hunting. You step in a stump hole out there, your day's done, son.
Yeah.
Them waders fill up, it is a bad feeling, buddy. JJ Collins, no limit. Oh, they catching limits out there in Grenada. I think Eric and them caught a couple limits today. They didn't catch any big fish.
Now, I've heard it's been tough, though, for real.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, anytime that muddy water, you got to deal with something. You're not running, unless you hit a string of a lot of fish, What's Nick talking about? Are there any other species you see when you get on the school? Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff out there with them fish, Nick. Stripe, gar, catfish.
Yeah. We one of the lakes that we fished out in Texas, there's a bunch of gar, and a lot of the big crappie were sitting below them, and like they'd move along with the gar would move slow, they'd sit below him. It was kind of funny.
Caught him several times like that.
Yeah. But that old gar, he gives a lot harder return, sonar return. If you see a glowing beam coming off the back of the fish, that's that gar.
Oh yeah. You'll see half of it. Hey, half of them be behind a tree and half of them on this side. You're like, or a lot of spoonbill where I fish. You know, they show up a lot.
What I'm saying is, when that sonar hits him, it'll throw a strike off his back because it's still.
Oh, beam. I see what yeah, you're right.
Like a beam off his back, and that's how it's like, oh, there's it going.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's seen talking about drums. I've seen them, boy. Whew. John, Johnny Carter wants to know when y'all coming back home, John.
Sunday.
Possibly.
Sunday, you said? What's that, Jess?
I said, I got to go home Sunday. I got to go back to work Monday.
You've enjoyed your off week, though. How long you been off, Jess?
10. I'll be off for 10 days. Awesome.
Congratulations. That's nice.
I had to cut this heat off. I don't know. That thing's supernatural over there.
Let me see if I missed any questions. I get dragging up through here. Landon Andrews asked a question. Hey, guys, just moved from Prattville area. Grew up fishing in Warrior River around Demopolis. Any advice learning the Alabama River? I guess he's talking about around Prattville.
That's Shane. Oh, up there?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, you fished a lot more up there around Swift Creek and all that stuff than I have. Holy Ground, all that stuff.
I'd start at Swift Creek.
Yeah, it's got enough fish in it. You're exactly right.
Swift Creek almost acts like its own lake. I mean, it's a big creek that's off the Alabama River. You know, it's got a channel that runs through it, and it's got flat, and it's a lot of water. You can go through all the different types of fishing, from ledge fishing to the spawn going up in the head of the lake, like almost like it was a lake, all off Swift Creek.
It is. Swift Creek's big. I mean, how many acres you think that creek is, John? 100 something? Big.
It fishes like it's its own lake.
It does. You got a creek channel runs up in it. You got standing timber. You got,
Yeah, you got ledge stumps. You've got,
How big was that? How big was that fish that Scott Williams and them weighed in at NCL? 3 something? Was it 360?
I think it was a 343 or 3 something like that. It's big.
It was a giant fish. It was a giant fish caught right there. Big blackfish.
It's black. Okay.
Big blackfish. But there's some excellent fish in there, Landon, all up and down that thing. All those creeks got a lot of fish in them. And I know they were catching them early fall. They were catching them pretty good down there. Let's see. Make sure I ain't missing any other questions. I get skipping around on here. Oh, Jason Craps. He said, Shane, have you cooked any crappie dusted with crawfish boil? I sure have. I sure have dusted them with it. I took a little pack and dusted them. It's pretty good. It was really good. I have done that. It was good. And it's always after a few beers on down in the fries. It was all good. So I've took a little piece of crab boil.
Shane, tell them about what you was doing this afternoon.
Oh yeah, man, I got down here early and Clinton asked me that. It's 45 degrees, wind blowing 20 miles an hour. I mean, it's getting it. And I was unloading everything and John, this is a great discussion we could have. Me and John had a discussion while I was on the pier. And it's probably wind chill 30-something degrees out there. I'm standing in a hoodie like an idiot. But anyway, I took a 30-second jig and started throwing around the weeds, just talking to myself, chilling. Hey, big 1.5-pound fish jumped on that thing. I mean, thumped it. I mean, a foot of water. And I'm like, what in the world? So John and I we're assuming it's not a biological fact, but once those males get up there guarding those nests, they're not coming out of those weeds. I mean, that's their nature. They're not coming out. So I sat there on the pier and caught 15 fish, lost one big one, tried to boat flip it. I mean, close to 2 pounds. But the cool thing about the lakes in Florida here, it got so cold that the lily pads didn't bloom out. You still got the roots down in there, so you don't have the pad itself. It's still underwater. So those fish are pushed up against it. But caught a female out a little deeper. I posted them. They were real black, real pretty fish, got their tuxedos on. But, you know, like John and I were discussing, once it's going to go down to 28 down here tonight. And I don't think it's going to pull them fish out of the weeds because they got to guard the nest. I just don't think, you know, the females may back up some, but I just don't think they're going to be able to back out of there. So, but it was interesting. I sat there and popped them like I used to when I was a kid, man. Actually, we're going to go out there at night and try to throw around there at night because I've caught a lot of fish right there at night, you know, around those weeds at night. Just, you know, throwing, I'm reeling that jig, guys, and I'm twitching it real quick. Not moving it much. I'm reeling it, twitching it, just throwing off a little vibration with that fish if he does get behind it. But I mean, I'm moving that rod real fast, not a lot, just, you know, a half inch, just twitch, reel, and that fish is, if he's behind it, once it does that twitch, that's what makes him kind of come up and hit it. So I've been doing that for years. So William said he put a ladder on the back of his boat. That's a good idea, William. If you come out of that thing, you sure with clothes on, you'll sure want to get back in there.
There was ice in the bottom of my boat today, like where I had taken some rollers over the front of the deck and it froze. I went to stand up one time. I was completely fishing a live well, and I just came back like this. I was like, "Cow!" I had that float suit on though, so it would have been handy. I don't know if I could.
This is the time of year. Always keep an extra suit of clothes in your boat.
Yeah.
In a Ziploc bag.
You know, hey, get you an old hoodie, some old jogging pants, vacuum seal them, throw them in your boat. Because I have fallen in February, and I had to ride back to the ramp, and it was the most miserable ride. I still remember it to this day. I had coveralls on. It was freezing. Yeah, exactly right, Nick. I'm still a kid at heart. I enjoyed it. That was fun sitting out there on the bank. James Trott's tuned in, man. We've got a bunch of people tuned in. I'm glad y'all are patient waiting on my sorry making a silly comment, got me booted. But John, can you tell the difference in that Ranger and the Wind compared to other boats? Yeah, really. Tell him, John. Yeah, it ain't even, it's no comparison, guys.
Yes, very much so. Oh yeah.
To me, it's like standing on a 2x4 and then you stand on a 2x12. That's the difference, literally. I mean, it's that extreme. I mean, no kidding. As far as movement, it really is.
At times, like when I first got in that boat, in the Ranger, I was still trying to make the corrections I'd have to make for the other boat, you know, to stay on target.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I don't think I've got all that out yet because I'm still a little twitchy at times. But you know, it helped. I think being in different boats before this one because
oh yeah,
what I fished in this morning would a lot of people probably would have been like, I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on a trailer and call it, let the skunk get me. But you know, it was tough, and and what was kind of bad about this morning was I thought I showed up thinking I knew where the fish were, and I went out there and they weren't there. I was like, oh crap! So we got you know, single digit weather, and I'm like to look for fish, but I said I'm not gonna let them beat me. Stayed out there, and she texted me. She's like, "How's it going?" I said, "Terrible. I haven't seen a fish." And that was kind of early. Then once I found them, it was on.
There you go. Once you found them. Let's see. Corey Newby. Hey, man, Corey. That's one of my good buddies up there in Georgia. Corey's on here. James Trott. Chris Hill. What's Chris Hill saying here? I live on the Warrior Bankhead. I bass fish, mostly been dabbling the crappie fishing a little bit each year around March. What area of the river is usually most productive to you? If you're going for numbers, Lost Creek, Friley's, A lot of those creeks, Bluff Creek, bigger fish are always downriver. If you have live scope, that's the kind of where I would head. But a lot of those creeks, man, you can hit those pines all in Loft Creek, in the spring and catch a lot of fish. Get you a weedless head and go to chunking. It ain't rocket science. Once you find them, you find them. So, Jonathan said it might be that Yamaha outboard on the back of that Ranger, so that thing sticks. There you go, Jonathan.
I have liked it.
Good evening. Hopefully this cold weather and I won't shut them down here at the north end that you follow. I don't think it's going to, Tony. I mean, the water doesn't cool off as rapidly as people think it is. It does. Even though it gets cool, it has to be several cold days. And the sun's going to pop out tomorrow and this weekend. So hopefully, we're okay. I think is, it's, once they start that transition, John, they really don't like to back up, do they?
Especially the males.
Yeah.
Females they'll boogie in and out.
Yeah, the females, they do that anyway, though, John, don't they? They'll go up there and spit a few eggs, come back, go spit a few eggs. They never stay up there, do they?
They do. That's what I'm saying. Like you go one day and like, oh, I got it figured out, and go back next, and catch a bunch of males. But
that's right.
But the thing about it is, just back offshore a little bit. And you probably will find your ladies out there.
Today when I was center casting, I was fan casting down the bank. I was throwing, right by the bank, and then I threw it, out a good cast and started popping the females. They were right there, a foot or two deeper. What's Jason asking? If you were going to put a depth finder up front for mapping, what would you buy and use, John?
The same you'll have at where you drive.
Exactly. If you got a Humminbird, get a Humminbird. Exactly.
Wherever you're going to be using for side imaging, you want the same up front for your mapping. That way, when you mark it on side imaging, when you go up front, you can see your mark. So that whether you choose Garmin or Humminbird, that'd be my two choices. They're both very good right now. The new Garmin HD transducer is very good, and I like
that HD 56 is strong, man.
So that would be my suggestion, bud. Just whatever you're going to use at your console to ride around with the big motor and find stuff side engine, make sure the front is going to be the same. Now, that's taking, forward facing sonar out. You can, that can be separate. You're just using what's up front as a map, length of the map in the back. That's where you found stuff.
Right. Let's see. Yeah, Florida boy asking, do the females lay their eggs in the exact same spot where the males spawn?
So typically the males will go into like where they were taught that the females will spawn shallow stump or anywhere that's a shallow structure. The males go in there first and the females come in there. So I guess the males just kind of go in there. I guess basically where he was born. If I had to take, I'm not a biologist. That's just me.
Yeah.
Probably genetically put into him where to go back to, and then the females come in there and where he is.
Yeah, they unless it gets silted in, John, they spawn about the same area every year. I mean, they really like wood and weeds. They really do. If they can get 2 or 3 different type of structure. Today I was fishing this afternoon, just goofing off. There's a couple of trees in there, a couple stumps. You get, and I think they really like that hard structure to put their eggs out, and lay them, and they like those lily pad roots, So.
I've heard people say this. I can't again.
Oh, I know.
If I turn the heat off, I mean it's so cold outside. If I turn it off, it's like immediately cold. When I turn it back on, it's no happy medium. I've been told that the females like something they can come in there and like rub up against and push and push those eggs out. I don't know. I mean, not a biologist still, but I've heard that and heard a lot of people talk about that. Push that egg
Me
sac. And I do know this. When you catch a female and a male fish after the spawn, they're pretty beat up. And I don't know if that's
exactly right.
I don't know if that's from stuff going in there and knowing they're in there and picking at them, or is that them rubbing up against the structure they're on?
I imagine so, because if there's a lot of trees in there, you'll get a fish all scarred up, like you said, man. It's Jason asking, you're gonna do more of the get-togethers this year? Yeah, we're planning one in May, right?
Yes, yeah. Matter of fact, I need to talk to you about that because the guides up there have asked me about it. We were talking about Memorial Day, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we need to talk to Bay Springs Marina where we're planning on having it, and let them block us off some rooms. They've got plenty of rooms. They've got boat parking. They've got slips you can park your boat in. Everything you can think of. So we put it on your calendar. Memorial Day weekend. This is like the third or fourth time we talked about it, right, Shane? So
yeah, and this is the first time we talked about it live, because
because we haven't been live.
Yeah, we would.
So everybody that's listening to this, put that on your calendar, I guess. We're gonna plan on it. So I think it'll be good for the local area. And I think
there's plenty of room there, and it's a big place.
Get Georgia traffic, that Rome area, Tennessee traffic. There's a lot of people come down to Wise. So and the fishing should be good.
That's right. Yeah, I think so. Everybody, talking to Shiloh and you said everything will be back out on structure because we used to have a tournament up there at the Crappie Trail. Alabama Crappie Trail had one right around in there. So, but Memorial Weekend, it is. When is it?
Latter part of May, I think.
Yep. Hell, I don't. When is Memorial? It's the 26th, so it'll be the 24th that weekend.
Okay.
24th, 25th, the 26th Memorial Day. So
we'll plan on. We'll look at the weather, as it gets closer to it. But that weekend. I mean, it don't have to. Normally when we do this, there's people are up there for that whole weekend, and we all go eat together and we do stuff together, and then we have the fish fry, for one of the days. So fortunately, that weekend, to be a Monday holiday, so maybe more people can come, and it'd be good weather. I hope.
Yeah, I hope so too. Hopefully, we don't have any storms, nothing crazy.
Man, it would not be cold. Hopefully,
no, it'll be nice. Hey, I like to hunt, and I like colder weather, but I'm over this real cold weather. Like I was telling John, I'm done with it. I lost a couple pounds here lately, and I really get cold. Like it's ridiculous. I get cold a lot easier, so I'm ready for this stuff to be gone. So let's see if I missed any questions before we get ready to wrap this thing up. Man, this hour's blown by that fast.
If you're ready to get your boat serviced for this spring, you might want to go ahead and getting it in.
There you go. Hey, there's gonna be some people fired up. You're right.
And everybody is starting to bring their boats in for service. And Andalusia Marines, they're picking up, but still, get you in a timely manner there at Andalusia Marine. If you're in South Alabama, North Florida, come by, and if you want, shoot me a message. I'll get you in contact with the right folks, and or just contact them. But I'll be glad to help you anyway. They're starting to see the uptick, the spring uptick. So right now is the time if you want to get your boat in and out to get it in there.
Yeah, he's saying Johnson's sitting there wide open. That's good, man. Hey, get in and get it serviced. Hey, get everybody's checking their batteries and everything else. So, appreciate Andy tuning in, man. Man, we got everybody, all the normal all the normal folks are tuning back in and be patiently waiting on us. So we're gonna get back going these lives. Hopefully I'll get to go live this weekend, and I'm ready for it. Maybe John will get to go live. I don't know what kind of signal he's got down there in the boonies, but
I hope the next spot's better than this one.
We've had no service since Friday.
Every place we've been on this trip, no service. We had to come
it's crazy, man. It's 2000.
The little honky tonk cabin, because this is the only place that
in one spot.
One spot. We're in the corner.
Yeah. John, you running them lithiums in that cold weather? What Clinton wants to know.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Clinton.
So I bought some heating pads and put them there with them, trying to warm them up so they'd charge. I wanted a heating blanket, like that you put on your bed. And I think that would work. But the heating pads, it was just too cold here to make that work. So I had a good charge still today. So I went out, but I knew I was going to need a charge for tomorrow. So I got out there when I got back today, took the batteries out of the boat, brought them inside, put them on charge, got them all charged inside in the warmth. First thing I did is I put them in there in their own little room with a space heater and warmed them up. And then I charged all of them.
Like a baby bit.
And then I put them all back in the boat.
It was a several-hour process.
Yeah, it was. And then I made a little funny. I put one of them on the stove and act like I was heating it up with the stove. I hadn't posted that yet. I'm gonna have some fun with that. Like sometimes you gotta heat your batteries up.
Oh God, they'll be calling you bomb maker and everything.
Yeah, you're gonna blow the house up. You're gonna melt the battery.
I'll tell you what, those people on the internet tell you you're doing yourself wrong.
Yeah. If
you're being yourself, it's crazy. But hey, I like it. What is it, below 30? Something, John, that when they don't act funny, or what is it, 20 something?
I think it's when the battery gets below 41, you're not supposed to charge it, but you can let it discharge below there. So like if you already got charged, But I'll tell you what happened today to me. I was out there fishing, and my phone went from like 70% to 10. I got a notice that low power mode, you're at 10%. The phone got so cold.
Yeah, if you didn't have it in your pocket, I guarantee it did.
Yeah, I had it on the deck, because I was trying to get service. Huh. And I looked down and it said low power mode. I said, oh my God. So I had one of my juice boxes for my GoPro, and I plugged it into it while I was up front, and it brought it back up. But it's kind of like it woke it back up or something. I don't know. Because it showed back like 56 once I plugged it in. But it went to 10% like that quick.
It's too cold to be fishing.
Absolutely not.
If you have to bring your batteries inside to heat them to go fishing, it might be too cold to go fishing.
You're 100% right. What's Andy asking? We had a situation, a lot of heavy rain. We had a hard time finding fish. What were y'all doing? They're talking about stained water. It just scatters those fish,
Yeah, that's what it did. Just looking for singles at that point. That out in Texas, that's the way it was. We were looking for singles, and they're just bunched up. And, unless you mess with some of that, you might be like running over some fish. Like, oh my gosh, where's my little groups I've been looking for?
Yeah, right.
One fish here, one fish there, and it might release them from the structure they were on. There's a lot that could happen.
Linda's asking, Jessica, how was your wind rider suit?
It keeps me super warm. I've had it for 2 years. It's just my hands that get so cold, but my body is perfectly warm. Wind rider's amazing.
They are. There's one in the back seat right here, somewhere.
This is my second or third with it, and I love it.
Yep. Before we got on the pro staff, we'd been using it. So like when we sent our little resume or whatever into them, they looked us up and looked at our pictures. Like, you're already using our gear. I'm like, yeah, that's why we're coming to you guys. And it worked out good.
Yeah.
They're a great company. They're so friendly.
Yeah, they put out a good product. I mean, like I said, I've got the liner out of mine because it's perfect for, when it's 30 something degrees, you wear a few clothes under it. That liner in it better be cold, stay cold if you put that with that liner in. I'm telling you. Woo.
Hard to beat on warranty.
And I bought the light suit too, and I love it.
Yeah, you don't have to
Right.
use the ice
I
fishing
thought
suit. They
that.
got the lighter, more like a wind rain gear. That's what we use probably
That's what I used
80% of the
the
time.
first day. I've lost track of days. What day it is? Oh, and John wore closed-toe shoes.
Yeah, dang, I did.
Travis Hudson said he caught some fish off the bank moving through culverts in the high water on Alabama. On bales, I bet they're on there. They're running around. I bet.
I think I know where it might have been where he was at. I've heard Big Daddy talk about that spot before.
Yeah, there ain't no telling, buddy. There ain't no telling, man. Chad Clifton said Wind Rider has been great to work with. Yeah, Chad, they have, buddy. Chad, I mean, I bet I get a text or a message about those power breaks every 2 or 3 times a day. I guess I know you're busy because people's asking, they seeing them. I guess a lot of people seeing them a lot more and getting on boats with them and figuring out, hey, they need to, hey, if I'm gonna step my game up, I'm gonna have to get, go full bore. So
I always love the conversation. See somebody at the gas pump, they're like, "Why you got trolling motors on the back of your boat?
What's them for?"
I say, "Well, let me tell you how this works."
Yep, it is, man. Well, let's wrap this thing up, John. I gotta go hunt me down food, son.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
I'll probably have to have me a margarita or something, put my butt to sleep. I'll be so fired up.
I hope we're cutting out early in the morning. I told her, I said, "Look, we won't leave until I wake up."
4:30.
Jessica's not. No, she ain't feeling that. She is not feeling that.
Well, I told her I wouldn't set an alarm, so.
There you go. Well, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Everybody coming back. We're back live, so hopefully we'll be doing some lives. Hey, you catch a lot of fish, message me. I'll be glad to post them. It's always good to see John. Y'all be careful in the morning, guys.
All right.
I guess I'll figure out where you're going, but I'll check in with you tomorrow. So
Louisiana.
Louisiana. That's right. Good luck to everybody fishing, man. Thank y'all. Thank all the 80-something people that were on here, man. I appreciate y'all being patient with us, getting back lives, man. Spend time with your family. God bless y'all. And we'll see y'all next week. Next Thursday, we will be live. Good Lord willing. See y'all. Y'all stay safe.